If you have or know a high school student, chances are good they're already thinking about college, or perhaps should be thinking about college. We hear more and more that it's never too soon to start planning. There are different schools of thought about it. This is Eric Greenberg, who's director and founder of the Greenberg Educational Group in New York City. First, Eric, tell us a little bit about your company, what you do.
Sure. Nice to be here, David. What my company, Greenberg Educational Group, does is we do a lot of standardized test preparation.
Okay.
We also do a lot with advisory for high school, college, and graduate school, and we also do a lot of academic tutoring. We do it both in person and online via Skype.
Okay, now you've been doing this since 1991. What are the big changes you've seen, especially in recent years?
Well, the changes are enormous, David. In fact, what has happened over the past 20 or 30 years is that the number of people who are applying to colleges has doubled and tripled in many cases. And the colleges are not getting any bigger. So what is happening is you have 2 or 3 times as many people trying to get the same spots, and that causes incredible competition between and among the students. What that means is that the process is starting earlier. So whether it's test preparation, whether it's learning about what schools to go to visit, whether it's learning about how to plan for the summer, everything seems to be moving earlier than it did a couple of decades ago.
Eric, has there been any philosophical shift among the schools? I know each school is unique, perhaps it's specific, but in terms of the emphasis on testing in versus a broader range of evaluation components?
Well, it's a great question. Most schools in and around the tri-state area do not really push testing within the classroom. They might do the statewide test for public schools, but as far as the test prep goes, SATs or ACTs, most schools really are pretty hands-off with that. So students are on their own. So as the pressure for college admissions has gotten greater and greater, the students have felt the pressure to start earlier. So a lot of students are starting that process in 9th or 10th grade. The other side of it also is that a lot of colleges now are taking a huge number of students early decision, which means that since they'll be applying in the fall of senior year, what happens in many cases is they need to commit to a school in October or November of the senior year, so their decision has to be made earlier, which means actually that they have to look at schools much earlier on than they did in the past.
Okay, all right, good. Well, what now, when we say this, how soon is too soon or how late is too late? I mean, there's some parents who may be freaking out.
Right.
Which is a technical term.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll look it up later.
I mean, are there any benchmarks you give broadly speaking, Eric? I know.
Yeah. I think some 2 very important benchmarks would be for students with regard to the college process. They should be looking at starting the process in 9th grade. Not necessarily at a rapid pace, but at a pace where they can slowly get acclimated to what's out there, get expert advice in terms of what they should be doing to maximize their chances down the road. Okay. As far as the test prep goes, typically 10th grade, David.
Well, anything in particular stand out for you in this season, this year?
In spite of the problems with the economy, the demand for very good and elite colleges is rising. So you would expect, I guess, with this economy, people wanting to shy away from that, private school tuitions, et cetera. But in fact, the demand is going the other way. The rationale is that because the job market is quite suppressed, people are viewing going to a good college as a good investment in the future.
All right, Eric Greenberg, thanks a lot. Good overview.
Pleasure.